Welcome to the Way We See It podcast.
where we talk about politics, social justice, and culture.
I'm Tati,
And I'm Ariana.
and we are your host of this podcast. What's up, everybody? This is episode 52. Whatever week it is. This is the first time I really lost track of it. I really don't know. But we're back and we're better, baby. I just finished school for this semester. And Ariana's about to finish school after this week, too.
More free time. I can finally sleep.
Get jiggy. But no, for real. Like, I'm over it. I can't even wrap my mind around it. Like, wow, really? Like, I'm not even doing any more homework assignments after, now. Like, I'm just done. I'm not doing no more for another month and a half, and that's if I get into my schools. So, we'll see about that. And Ariana surprised me yesterday when we saw each other. She got me a bottle of what?
Or rosé?
The non-alcoholic one?
What?
Okay, so she got me a bottle of rosé, non-alcoholic, wink, wink. And then she also got me a candle because she knows I love my candles. And the candle smells so good. I'm so excited to light it when I get home. I needed a new candle. And so it made me very happy. And just a recap of our week. Yesterday.
Should we save that for the free talk?
Oh, yeah. I'll save it for the free talk.
We had an eventful day yesterday.
One for the books.
If you want to know more what happened, tune into the next episode.
Yeah, next episode. Free talk. For the month. But yeah, so before we get into it, make sure you check us out on our social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter at The Way We See It with the C. Crip. And we are also official on Google now, so you don't even have to click the link in our bios if you don't want to. You could literally just type us in on Google. You'll find our streaming platforms there, our social media, everything. So, because we're official. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell button so you get notified when our episodes drop every week. So, yeah, guys, here we are right now, episode 52, like I said, and our topic for this week, as you can tell by the title, has to do with Kyle Rittenhouse. Yes. So, I'm going to do the brief summary first before we explain why we wanted to discuss it. So, going back to around a year ago when we recorded episode 8, from season 1.
Way back.
Way back. The incident with Kyle Rittenhouse transpired. So, to just do a recap of what happened, we're just going to refer back to our old episodes. Because I knew, like, when I heard his name, I was like, we definitely talked about this kid.
Yeah.
Like, definitely, for sure. And I just didn't know what episodes, but thanks to Ariana, I found our episodes. So, it was 2 episodes where we talked about him briefly, and this, thank God, made the research
lighter.
Yeah, because I didn't have to go so deep.
Yeah.
Like, we already had it done in our sources for it also, so it was good. So back in August 2020, a 17-year-old at the time, Kyle Rittenhouse, shot and killed 2 protesters in Wisconsin in front of police officers. So currently, Rittenhouse was being charged as an adult for homicide charges at this time in August. And then on August 31st, President Trump had a news conference and was asked about the Kyle Rittenhouse incident, and some people took it as him defending him, and he said that was an interesting situation. You saw the same tape as I saw, and he was trying to get away from them, I guess, it looks like. And he fell, and they very violently attacked him. I have the video. And it was something we are looking at right now, and it's under investigation. But I guess he was in very big trouble. He probably would have been killed. It's under investigation. So furthermore, after this interview happened, I believe, and this was in August, this was right before election time.
Definitely, yeah.
So this is when Trump was going to, the different states to do his little promotions for the election, whatever. And he was supposed to go to Wisconsin just a few weeks later for one of his things, and the governor of Wisconsin told Trump in a letter to not come because it was just gonna create more harm than good at that point, because they were already dealing with, I forget who exactly it was, but an officer had literally just paralyzed a black man and shot him in the back 7 times. And that's what the whole protest was about, leading to Kyle Rittenhouse.
Kyle killed those 2 people.
Yeah, I thought it was 3 people, but I guess it was 2. And then, fast forward again to episode 20 now. Now we're in November of 2020. On Friday, November 20th, Kyle Rittenhouse was released from jail by paying a $2 million bail because people donated to get him out. That's crazy. And that was the last time that we spoke about Kyle Rittenhouse. That was in November. So, why did you want to talk about this, Tatiana?
I thought it was important to talk about, just to like highlight the injustice in this system. I'm not surprised. Well, we'll get into like the details, but if you guys been keeping up with the news, we know that they found him not guilty of everything that he did in that protest. But we just wanted to highlight this case just to show like how unjust it is, and I personally feel like he should not be able to walk the streets freely when he literally like killed 2 people. It's just crazy to think like I can go to Wisconsin one day and then, or he can travel anywhere and I can just like pass by him like it was nothing. Like,
but the thing is too that is getting to me, like, I don't know if another person had died in the process of all of this, but like when I was doing my research for recently, it was 3 victims, 2 26-year-olds and 1 was 32.
Maybe 1 was injured.
Maybe. But still, it affected 3 people.
Yeah, 3 people's lives, and their families and friends. We're gonna dive deep get into the law, try to look at both sides of the story.
Yeah.
You know why the judge didn't see him as not guilty, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about it too because I still remember like getting the notification, because I told you guys before, I'll tell you again, I get my notifications about the news through Twitter. Twitter's always notifying me about the news. So I got back-to-back like notifications about recent news, Kyle Rittenhouse released of all charges. And I was like, who's that again? Like, I totally forgot about him. Like, we've just spoken about so many people on the podcast already. It was like, I don't really remember. But I know it was definitely along the lines of Black Lives Matter. And I just totally forgot about it. So then doing this was 1, a refresher course for me. And 2, it really, after doing the research for this document, it really did take me back. I kept on talking to Ariana about it while I was doing it. So I'll get into that. But I pretty much agree with every single thing that Ariana just said, too, about why she wanted to discuss it. It's just like it just says a lot about the justice system and the government and just like the world that we live in as a whole, and like the things you can, like, I don't want to say things you can get away with, but how the justice system has the ability to pick and choose who gets punished and who doesn't. So now Ariana's going to review the law.
So now we're going to get into the law. So is the act of self-defense against the law in Wisconsin? And the answer is no. According to Wisconsin's
legislator,
a person is privileged to point a gun to another person in self-defense if the person reasonably believes that the threat of force is necessary to prevent or terminate what they reasonably believe to be unlawful
That's literally in their legislator.
Interference?
Interference, yeah.
Okay,
Believes to be
let me
unlawful
process this.
interference.
I'm trying to analyze this. But you can.
No, yeah. When I saw that, because I know in every single state I know in every single state the act of self-defense is very different. I know in New York State it's not allowed, act of self-defense. I could get attacked in the street. If I harm the person, I could go to jail still for harming the person, even if it was an act of self-defense. That's exactly why you see many people also in jail, even after defending themselves from an abuser, killing their kidnapper, whatever. So it really depends on every single state. And Wisconsin is not necessarily against the law, depending on how you twist the words around in the courtroom, I guess, to make it not seem like an act of self-defense. But basically, that's why we wanted to mention it, because that's something that played a big role in his case right now. Because, what's it called? We're not gonna show the video, but like in the video, you see Kyle like running away from like a group of guys. Like you see 3 black guys, like, and just whoever else was out and about during that protesting time, whatever. And they were literally about to stomp this kid out, like literally. And then he pulled out he had his gun on him already. He was like swinging it at them and whatever. He didn't shoot. But then as they got closer to him, that's when he started shooting when shots were fired. And, he just kept on shooting, and he killed the 2 of them, whatever it was. And it just got really out of hand. So, like, one thing I did want to say about that, based off my thought process, is like, at the end of the day, someone was going to die in that situation. Someone was going to get extremely hurt. Either they were going to stomp him out and possibly kill him, or this happened. Like, he had a gun, he was going to shoot them, and he killed them. So, I don't want to say this, like, in terms of black or white, like, making that part of the Black Lives Matter thing. It's just the principle of like what's right and what's wrong, because if they hurt him and possibly killed him, I still believe that still deserves like jail time. Like, it's still punishable. Like, you still murdered somebody. And just like him, like, he killed not only 1 but 3 people, and even if it was an act of self-defense, at least still be like, punished for it. Like, you still killed people at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I really don't know. Like, it's really conflicting, and then that's why I say it's crazy how you pick and choose who gets punished and who doesn't. Because if it was those 3 guys that killed him, they'd be in jail for life, and that's a fact.
That's a fact.
And he's literally a free man walking right now. No punishment whatsoever. Insane. Mm-hmm. So then, what are the
degrees of murder?
Yeah.
So first degree murder is when it is premeditated killing, planned out, can usually range from years to life in prison. Second degree murder, unpremeditated murder, where the defendant intended to inflict grievous bodily harm. And lastly, third degree murder, when you kill someone unintentionally, didn't mean to harm or kill them.
Yeah. So
and which degree did he?
All his charges were for first degree.
Okay.
Yeah, like he thought about it and he killed him.
Okay.
But did you have something else to say in regards to Wisconsin?
No, I was just trying to like process like the what it says in their law, Wisconsin's law, how self-defense is not against the law there.
It's crazy, right?
Definitely saved his butt in this case.
Oh, D. So where was he in the last year if not in jail? Because like we said, the last we heard about him was November of 2020. But there was still news that resurfaced about him around February, which I didn't hear about at all, because we would have talked about him, because we still had season 2. We did our current events. We would have talked about him, but we didn't. So after he was given bail, he had to stay in his house. So I'm assuming he was on house arrest simply until like he had to go to whatever court dates he had to attend. And unless the judge stated otherwise. But then in February 2021, a request warrant and an increase in bond was asked after Kyle violated his terms of bail, but the judge denied it. There wasn't that many details about it too either. So it's like weird, like what did he do? I believe he didn't attend one of his
meetings,
his court dates, or something like that, or he wasn't necessarily home and they said that he was like at a safe house or something like that. But still, even the fact that if he still violated his terms of bail, the judge denied it. Like nothing
when you
added.
Violate bail, you back in.
Yeah, facts. Lots of passes being given.
Yes.
So then now getting to right now. So what's going on now? The jury deliberated over the verdict for 27 hours over the course of 4 days on his case. Like, once everything was done and they spoke about it and they gave the evidence, they showed the footage, because there was lots of videos of that night showing and everything.
You could probably go on YouTube and look at the whole case.
Yeah, like,
which I want to do.
Yeah.
Once I finish my assignments.
You're gonna look.
I want to look at it. Yeah.
I'll send it to you. I have it on my phone. But, what's it called? The thing that always gets to me, and we used to say this when we started season 1 too, that I never understood, is that you see footage and you see what's clear in front of you. But then there's always excuses made saying you can't interpret like what's going on there. No, if you see someone pointing a gun at someone's head and they're pulling the trigger, what did you just see? He just killed him. But what's called? He saw something to him. Okay, and he killed him. Like, you know, like that's what's something that they kept on discussing in the courtroom, like how even though yes, obviously there's proof that he killed them, and even one of the victims, like when he shot him and he was falling down to the floor in the video after he got shot, and Kyle shot him 4 more times afterwards, like nothing. You know, so they're like, you don't know what was going on. And then plus at the same time, the victims aren't even here to speak up their point of view. Kyle's saying that they were threatening him, and then once they got him alone, which at that moment he was alone, like that they were gonna kill him. And how they tried taking away his gun, and then someone else had said that that the person wasn't trying to take away his gun. It was because he was trying to make it seem like he was taking his gun away to shoot Kyle. But the guy, I think this is actually the 3rd victim. Maybe he was injured and actually didn't die. Okay. But because that's the only way that this makes sense. He was just trying to remove the gun from him so they didn't freaking die, you know? But then, you know, things over escalated, and so basically, according to he was charged with 5 different things and was found not guilty on all 5 accounts. He was charged at the time. It was just when the case first started, he was just charged with as an adult for homicide charges. But as time went on, it became 5 different charges. So it was 1st degree intentional homicide, 1st degree reckless homicide, 1st degree attempted intentional homicide, attempted intentional homicide. Why do you sound like a tongue twister? And 2 counts of 1st degree reckless endangerment, because it's also endangerment to other people that were there in the area, the area, because he was literally just shooting. Yeah. Like on the floor, like blah, blah, blah. He could have shot the person across the street that were walking, you know?
Yeah, or could have ricocheted against
something yeah. Like. So at the end of the day, he was not charged for anything. Not even one. And I just find that very crazy if you really think about it. And one of the victim's parents spoke out and said, "Today's verdict means there is no accountability for the person who murdered our son. It sends the unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town." That's another thing. He's not even from there. He came from another town. Bruh. To like just be there.
I'm also thinking like, how did he get the gun? Because I was just looking now, what's the gun law? Like, what's the age you can get a gun in Wisconsin is 18. Yeah. So he was 17, but he's not from Wisconsin.
No, he's not from.
Where's he from?
State over, which I don't remember. But as Ariana looks that up, I'm going to finish the quote. So it sends the unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town, incite violence, and then use the danger they have created to justify shooting people in the street, they said. So now that the criminal trial is over, unfortunately, he might have to re-enter into the courtroom again to fight against civil charges to resolve the disputes between him and the families now. Because that's what the civil court is. It's like to dispute any like conflicts between like the families. That's what we see happening when like people are like before they actually get into the civil courtroom, they try to make their settlements, pay off like the families, the families are probably gonna just bring them to court for like damages in terms of like losing a loved one, the things that they went to, in terms of that, like maybe paying for the funeral, hospital bill, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So Kyle's from Illinois, and the age to get a gun in Illinois is 18. So I'm surprised.
But he was with people. He wasn't by himself. So when he went to the protest, he was with a group of people. They got separated, and he still stayed and went around and, you know, was still with his gun out in the open. And then that's when people started pressing him, basically.
But I'm surprised that, like, they couldn't have charged him for at least having a illegal gun. He wasn't even the age to have a gun.
That too.
In Illinois and in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was his. I don't know if he got it from somebody else.
Yeah, but still, it's the fact he still had a gun in his hands. And then even Ariana said that you saw the video from when they came out with his his verdict.
He was like crying. Maybe we should react to it and then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna react to the verdict when they said it to him. And
the video will be right here.
Yeah, I'll put it somewhere in the middle while editing it. How long is the video? Okay.
It's 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Actually, do it on YouTube because it's gonna be hard for me to get that video.
You're right.
So yeah.
2 minutes.
And just like here, put the link in the.
The defendant will rise, face the jury, and hearken to its verdicts.
State of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? We wish the jury polled. Okay. Okay, folks, your job is done, and we started just about 3 weeks ago. And I told you it could last 2 weeks and 2 days. This is 2 weeks. This is 3 weeks.
Still shaking.
You were a wonderful jury to work with. You were punctual. You were attentive. And the forgotten six over here who had a very...
That looks like it makes me want to, like, cry.
Yeah, it is sad to look at.
Because, like, at the same time, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the only problem with this is just the principle. Like literally, like, the fact that anybody can literally just get away with murder sometimes just because... I don't want to say because their skin color, but it's just literally how the justice system works. Like, there's literally people that are serving years in life in prison for freaking holding marijuana, but then you murder 3 people and you get away with it. At the end of the day, but that's why I said in the beginning, at the end of the day, someone would have died. Like, he either would have been very hurt or killed by them because just like how out of control everything was at that time. The looting, the fires, everything. Like, even the freaking, not the military, the squads, whatever they were called.
Damn.
I don't remember.
Yes. We used to say
the people with the smoke grenades.
Tear gas?
Yeah, the tear gas, everything. Like, that was everything that was going on this time last year. Insane. Havoc everywhere. So, like, at the same time, like, it is sad to see because he was 17 years old. Almost a near-death experience, you know, like, you know, he literally could have, almost died. And, you know, he reacted in that situation. He ended up killing 3 people, which is also sad because now that's...
Well, 2 people, but...
2 people, yeah. It would have affected the rest of his life. Even now, it's still gonna affect him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's gonna be known as a murderer. Like, even if he doesn't
Guilty
have the
or
charges or nothing, it's not gonna affect him with. Actually, you never even know. It may depend. Like, I was gonna say, it won't affect him, like, in terms of getting a job, because that's why we have the union for people that have felonies and have been in jail, prison, ada.
Like, he probably like can't walk in public by himself anymore.
Yeah.
He probably has to have bodyguards or something.
Yeah, and he's only 18.
Yeah. He probably won't have like, normal adult life. Like if he wanted to go to college, like.
It is a very sad case though, for both sides.
I'm wondering how he's gonna live his life.
Yeah.
Within the next few years.
Like, the only thing, like, because like I generally also don't know him as a person, as a human, like, I don't want to like assume that he's a racist and ada, or a typical, white man that, I mean, he's halfway there if he was walking around with a gun on his arm during a protest and he's not even a cop or anything. But so I hope he takes something from this in terms of like just how to be towards people and like what to do, what not to do, and what to call, like, I don't know, like, it's just so conflicting. Like, my head really hurts just thinking about it, but it's insane.
I get it. It's like, overall, the result of the verdict is not fair, but then I also understand he was defending himself. He already had a weapon in his hand, and he saw his people were going to attack him, and it wasn't going to end well either way. But
the minute he fell to the floor, that's when he knew it was clipped. If he kept on running, he maybe could have gone away. But once he fell to the floor and was on his back, literally crawling away from them, it was clipped from there. So, yeah. And, but we just wanted to say also, like, what does this mean about gun rights and human rights? Well, it's basically the obvious of what it's always been. Just like how the system is still very unfair. Lots of unfair cases that happen all the time. And, unfortunately, this is just another thing that's just also going to show as time goes on, just like the idea is that sometimes the government, I don't even want to say sometimes, that the government just in general is not on your side.
That's a fact.
It really all depends on your skin color. And if there literally was a point of our time in history where whether you got basic human decency based off the color of your skin, remember with the paper brown bag test? If it was all based off that, like, even now, 2021, like,
still happening.
It's so messed up. So it's just that, and then even like all these events are unfolding, especially after everything that happened in 2020. Everybody wants to focus on things that, yes, are still important, but not as important as these ones that are the cause of a lot of like catastrophe and problems that are going on right now. Like they focus more on abortion than gun rights and other basic human rights, which is insane.
Yeah, and I think the problem with gun rights is like every state has like a different law, and I think that confuses things, because literally you can just go to Florida, get a gun, and bring it to New York.
Yeah, but that's what the founding fathers did. That was from the Constitution, like from 1700. They made it like that because when they first wrote the Constitution, it was whatever, and then when they rewrote it, it's what allowed the government to now have complete power over its people. Like, it's still democracy at the end of the day. You get to have your House of Representatives, Congress, Senate, your governor, your mayor, but even though the government itself will instate the laws and what's prohibited and what's not, all the states still have a choice whether or not they'll follow through with it or not. Which is crazy too, because it's like, oh yeah, my boss said to do that, but will I do it? No. But there's so many pros and cons to that too. But
I also feel like there should be more like a thorough background before somebody purchases a gun. Like I hope that if Kyle wants to purchase a gun, like they need to do a thorough like background, make sure he doesn't do something like this again. Yeah.
There's a lot of things wrong when it comes to that.
He could come to another situation where he feels like he needs to self-defend himself, and he's going to use the same thing, use the same tactic.
He'll do it in New York. He won't make it over here. Like, not even that, like, towards the person, just literally self-defense is not allowed here in New York.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
It's crazy. But, yeah, guys, that's basically our episode for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gets you guys thinking, those nice juicy thoughts in your mind about, like, just how effed up the world is, truly. But like, at the end of the day, like, even though, yeah, it sucks, like what are the ways that we could do to make it better besides making little posts on our Instagram, like how we can actually impact it through people, like, in person, if you can, you know? Like,
I think the only way to fix this is like us Black and brown people getting into the law career, get careers related to this, so we'll be in the door.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get in the door even, because you gotta have a lot of money to go to law school. You gotta have time. That's a lot of years of going to school and everything, and usually privileged people have the
because everything is limited.
Yeah.
Like,
they gatekeep.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Perfect word. You see, the words that don't come to my mind, Ariana says it for me. They gatekeep a lot of things. Only certain people can get through the door. They make it harder for other people. The system. Conspiracy theories all day, every day. So, yeah. But yeah, this concludes this episode, guys. We'll see you next week with our free talk. And surprise, we're gonna have a little special guest
coming real soon.
Yeah, in like 2 weeks. So be ready for that. Peace.